Hi guys, welcome back. I am Ericka Wise, Elite Independent Consultant with Paparazzi. I am excited about this video, a little nervous about this video, because today it is March 22nd. Today marks 3 full weeks of my husband being retired, which is just crazy. Which is just crazy, and it is so exciting, and this is our real life, and this has happened. Oh, this has happened for us, and I'm just so excited. So I want to talk to you about how we made it happen, because I know this may not be your goal. This may not be something you ever even thought of or something you want to do, and that's okay. But I know that there are people watching this who have goals right on par with this, big scary goals, to leave your business, I'm sorry, not leave your business, leave your full-time job, or maybe let your spouse retire, or what have you, or buy that house, or all of those things. And actually we've done a lot of that. I have bought a house with Paparazzi, and I have retired a husband with Paparazzi, and we're going to buy a car this year in 2019 with only Paparazzi sales money. And so I want to tell you a little bit of how we did it, to explain to you how we did it. And so the biggest thing that I have to tell you first is I was terrified. I was absolutely terrified. I will put a link in the comments of a blog that I wrote about this. It's a pretty short one. Read it for me, because I was absolutely scared out of my mind. I love him, and I hate to tell this, but he practically begged me for 3 weeks to leave his job. Things changed without his knowledge and weren't good anymore, and he was more than ready. And I don't want to speak ill of his company. I love the company, but things needed to change. And I learned a long time ago that in order for God to get Ericka's attention, he's got to hurt the people I love. Or he's got to allow the people I love to be hurt. That is what gets my attention, and that is what pops me out of fear. Because I was so afraid of what would happen if we lost that steady income, that it took Solomon hurting, the person I love most, hurting, for me to see that it was time. I saw, and the day he turned in his 2-week notice, I threw up because I was so scared. I was so scared. So when you look at me and you say, I am afraid to do this, I'm going to look back at you and say, I know, but go do it anyway. With all the love that I have. You have to do things afraid. And so if this is your big goal, to whatever your big goal is, whatever your little goal is, even if you're afraid, go throw up, big girl panties on, and let's do this thing. Because fear stopped me for much longer than it should have. And it took having my husband hurting for me to really see that this must happen. And I don't want you guys to have to go through that. Don't go through that. Don't put anybody else through that. Don't do it. And so I was definitely afraid. Definitely very afraid. And then the next thing was a conversation with my mom that really, really hit home, because she was thinking about leaving her job. And she's like, I'm afraid because I'll lose, these things that her employer provided her, and it's not as secure as she worked at a hospital as a nurse, as that position. And I said, Mom, nothing is secure anymore. When my grandparents, and they're in their 70s, started working, they finished working at the same job 40 years later, and they retired, and they had a pension, and they've got all these things that their employers cared about them, and their employers took good care of them, and not now. You can be fired like that, and if you're in a state like Florida where it's a right-to-work state, they can fire you for no reason. They're just tired of looking at you. You're gone. That happens. And so that loyalty is not there anymore with employers. And that conversation turned out it was for me. In that steady income is not guaranteed. Solomon could have lost his job at any point, and there went the steady income. And so that was, I needed to move past that. It's not fun, but I needed to move past it anyway. So practically, how did we do it? Because originally we had intended to retire Solomon at the end of January. But I don't know if you guys know, our German Shepherd got very, very sick, and we did 4 months of chemo treatments, and it was over $10,000. That was our savings. You know, we had been saving. I'd been growing a huge saving account so that when he quit, I knew I had that much money ready. P.S. If you don't believe you can make money in paparazzi, I had saved over $10,000. Just so you know. In less than a year. And so I knew I had $10,000 and all the bills would be paid for a while and we were good. If the worst happened, you know, paparazzi stopped for some reason, we'd be fine. But that money wasn't there. That went to keep the dog alive for 4 extra months. And didn't have it. So what we did instead was survive on sales. Go back to the old standard, paparazzi. Go back to the way I started. I quit my job in paparazzi. You ready? As a star consultant. Look at this. These are my sashes. They don't do these anymore at convention. Star consultant was my first convention, and I had just quit my full-time job. I was making that much on sales alone. And I knew that if I had done it then, I could 100% do it now. And I was reminded in my own self, girl, you're killing at sales. You are awesome at this. This is what you need to go back to. And so that is where everything starts in paparazzi, even the big dreams and the big goals. We pay all our bills with sales. We buy all of our groceries with sales. Even now. That's how it works. We live on our sales. We survive on our sales. The rest of it's going to save for a vehicle and other, you know, necessities and having a savings account and all that jazz. No more dog cancer. No more dog cancer, please. And so I sat down and did some math. I needed to replace, because he got paid every week, and so I needed to replace the amount of money that he made every week, $700, and divide that by the $225 that we make in profit off of our sales, and that's 350 pieces. And so that was my goal, 350 pieces every week. Sell them. Sling bling, 350 pieces a week. There are people who do more and there are people who do less, but that was my goal. And now, in my mind, it is sell or don't eat. Because we don't really touch my downline commissions. Those are used for different things. It is sell or don't eat. And that is the mentality I went into that with. And so I hustle. I still hustle. I still sell. I still sling bling. And it's not going to stop. In my mind, it is sell or don't eat. And that is my mantra, and that is what I do right before I go on, do a sale. Girl, you are going to do this, and you're going to buy groceries this week, and you're going to have this bill paid, and you're going to pay that bill, and those sorts of things. And so that pushes me to sell more, to sell for longer, to have more often lives if I need to. If I'm not at my 350 mark for the week, I have an extra live, or I post an album sale, or I do a wall drop, or I do something. We survive on our sales. We thrive on our sales, really, but it's SOS. Survive on your sales. Yes, I'm elite. Yes, I get a commission check from Paparazzi every month. That is very large, and I am so grateful for it. But I show up to sell. I feed my family on my sales. I pay my phone and electric and my cable bill. We don't have cable. Internet on sales. Even now. And so my why pushes me hard. Sell or don't eat. Sell or have no power. Sell or can't afford the cell phone. And that is not like a poverty mentality. That is a get your butt up and go to work, girlfriend. You can do this. You've done this before. You can do this again. That pushes me every day. And the last thing that I want to tell you, and this one, I think I'll do another video only about this one day, is that chaos precedes great things. Y'all, our world fell apart. We lost the dog. We went to the Dominican Republic with Paparazzi. Solomon came home with E. coli. Spent some time in the hospital for that one. We went on a cruise with our wonderful team. We came home and his whole job had changed. It was chaos. Quite frankly, it was hell. It was awful. And that chaos preceded the wonderful things that we get now. And it took that chaos to wake up a type A to make it happen. And so when, because chaos always precedes great things. Always. When you set a goal and you're working toward it and you're coming close and then all of a sudden the world blows up around you, don't throw in the towel. Say it to yourself. Write it on your vision board. Put it on your mirror. Chaos always precedes great things. So you might be in the chaos time. Stay. Push through. Work. Survive on your sales. Grow your team. Recruit. Hit new ranks. Believe in yourself. You can have what we have and so much more, and I want the more for you. You can